You may be surprised to learn that everyday chemicals are disrupting your hormones. And in this video, we're going to go over how to protect yourself against hormonal disruption from these everyday chemicals. Chemicals called endocrine disruptors interfere with your hormones, and they can mimic estrogen, testosterone, thyroid hormones, and insulin. These chemicals can lead to major health issues down the road, like an increased risk of cancer, obesity, diabetes, infertility, developmental issues in children, and even behavioral changes. Now, it's not just one chemical that you have to worry about. There are literally thousands of chemicals out there that are classified as endocrine disruptors. So today, we're going to go over the top 3 ways to protect yourself from these chemicals. So let's dive into the first tip, which is to avoid plastics as much as possible. Now, plastics are everywhere, but especially in our kitchens, where we have plastic food containers, plastic wrap, straws, water bottles, bottle tops, and even inside our microwaves. So why do we want to avoid plastics? Well, plastics are made from nasty petroleum chemicals, and over time these chemicals can leach into the food or liquids that are stored in the plastic. Now, what makes this so tricky is that you often don't see the chemicals leaching out. It's invisible to us. And also, the levels of these chemicals that are leaching out are often below what's considered toxic. But when we look at overall health, these small amounts of chemicals over time do add up and can affect your hormones. One of the most concerning chemicals that can leach out of plastics is BPA, or bisphenol A. Now, this chemical is used to make certain plastics and resins, including the clear plastic that lines the inside of metal products such as food cans, bottle tops, and water supply lines. BPA has been shown to cause negative health effects in fetuses, infants, and young children, as well as effects on the brain, behavior, and prostate gland in fetuses, infants, and young children. Even small amounts of BPA have been found to negatively impact the reproductive system, immune system, brain development, and the metabolism in both animals and humans. Another group of chemicals that are concerning are the phthalates, which are used to make plastics more flexible. Studies have found that the most commonly used plasticizers, which are the phthalates, can affect hormone levels and have been associated with reproductive issues, asthma, allergies, and even certain cancers. Now, while it might not be easy to completely avoid plastics, you can definitely reduce your exposure by following these simple tips. First, when selecting food storage containers, always pick glass over plastic, especially when heating or cooling foods. And if you have to use plastic, then always look for the recycling number 5, because that means it's made from polypropylene, which is the safest type of plastic. Then, when storing leftovers, always use glass containers instead of plastic. And you can find these in your kitchen section. If you buy pre-made salad dressings or other liquid foods, look for those that are stored in glass containers rather than plastic. You can also buy glass water bottles, although I would recommend getting a reusable one so that you don't keep buying new ones. You can also avoid plastic straws and utensils by simply using the ones that you have at home. Or another option is to get reusable silverware that you can keep in your car or purse. Now, the second tip is to use natural, non-toxic personal care products. Now, did you know that the U.S. has not banned any of the approximately 12,000 chemicals that manufacturers use in personal care products? In fact, only 11 chemicals are currently banned in cosmetics that were actually grandfathered in after the cosmetic regulation started back in 1938. This means that manufacturers can basically use any chemical that they want unless it's proven to be harmful. And sadly, most of these products are absorbed into our bloodstream and can end up in our organs and even our hormones. There are 2 main types of chemicals in personal care products that are concerning. The first is parabens. Now, these chemicals are used as preservatives to prevent the growth of bacteria and other microorganisms in products such as moisturizers, shampoos, conditioners, and even shaving gels. Unfortunately, studies have found that parabens can cause an estrogenic effect in animal studies and have also been detected in the blood and urine of individuals. Another study even found parabens in breast milk. The second chemical to avoid is something called formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is used as a preservative in nail hardeners and hair strengtheners, and also as an active ingredient in some hair smoothing treatments. Unfortunately, formaldehyde is a known human carcinogen. Now, I want to point out that there are many other chemicals that are used in personal care products that are also considered endocrine disruptors. That's why I highly recommend avoiding conventional personal care products altogether and instead use natural products that are free of parabens, formaldehyde, and other toxins. I also recommend avoiding products with something called sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a common surfactant or detergent used in shampoos and body washes. This chemical is often contaminated with other chemicals that are carcinogenic, and so it's best to avoid it altogether. By the way, if you're enjoying my content, please hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends. Alright, now let's get back to the video. The third tip to avoid hormonal disruption from everyday chemicals is to check labels and make safer choices around your home. There are 4 main areas around your home that you should focus on: air fresheners, cleaning products, laundry products, and pest control. First, let's talk about air fresheners. Did you know that most commercial air fresheners release volatile organic compounds or VOCs into the air? These VOCs can be harmful to your health, and some have even been linked to cancer. They can also contribute to the formation of ground-level ozone, which can harm your lungs and even damage plants and animals. Second, you want to read the labels on your cleaning products. Some of the ingredients to avoid include ammonia, which can cause asthma and respiratory problems, chlorine bleach, which can irritate your eyes, skin, and throat, and even some disinfectants, which can cause eye and skin irritation and even nausea. These chemicals can also cause cancer and birth defects. If you have young children or pets, you may also want to avoid products with fragrances because these can trigger allergies or asthma. Instead, you can use essential oils for a nice, fresh scent. My favorite essential oil for cleaning is lemon essential oil, which has antibacterial properties. Or you can simply use white vinegar, which is all natural and will leave your house smelling fresh. Third, check your laundry products. One ingredient to avoid is something called optical brighteners, which are chemicals that make clothes look whiter than white. While they are considered safe, some people do have sensitivities to them and can cause skin irritation. Other ingredients to avoid in your laundry products are phosphates, which can cause eye and skin irritation and are also bad for the environment. Also, you want to avoid dyes, which can be irritating to sensitive skin, and also formaldehyde, which again is a known human carcinogen. Fourth, if you use pesticides or bug sprays around your yard or home, you want to proceed with caution. Most pesticides are considered toxic and can cause anything from mild skin irritation to very severe symptoms like seizures, headaches, and even paralysis. And while the EPA does regulate pesticides, studies have shown that the safety standards set by the EPA may not actually be protective of children's health. So I would recommend avoiding pesticides around your home and yard as much as possible. If you want to learn more about reducing toxins in your life, click the video that's on your screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.